That was very weird. I don't know what in the world was going on with that. That's why I tested it last night, and then now all of a sudden there was an issue. I want to make sure. Can y'all hear me well? And let me know what the performance is. Let me know. Yeah, if y'all sent questions, my apologies again. Send it to me again. It wiped out everything when I redid this. Round 2. That's why I put it on here. Take 2. So let me sample my audio. That was very weird. All right, so I can hear myself. Again, my apologies, folks. I don't know what's up with that. I hope that gives y'all some hope that if y'all are fixing all your stuff at church and you have issues, guess what? I still have issues here too, which was really out of my control. That's why I tested it. But oh well. I turned that off. So we should be fine. I stopped the stream going to anywhere else. Let me see. I'm going to see if I can kick back off the stream separately so this won't affect y'all. Man, this is interesting. I might as well show y'all what I'm doing. So back here on my Vimeo here, we're going to change this to take 2. My destinations, I'm going to turn off YouTube so that we're still going to Twitch and everywhere else. So this is separate. This is Vimeo handling itself. And I'm streaming to this via vMix. Normally my A10 Mini Pro would handle this, but I still had it packed up from when I did something the other day. So almost fell out the seat. So I'm going to copy the stream, and I stopped y'all from seeing it so I don't show the code here. So if y'all still wanted to sample the audio on phone live streaming, you should get a call here in a half a second. All right, so I'll switch back over here once the code disappears. All right, so like right here. So now we're going to all these locations. That was, don't you just love it when stuff happens? But anyway, all right, folks. While I'm doing that, you should see I'm getting a call right now from the phone live streaming. So I'm not going to listen into it because I was listening to it the entire time while the other stream was going. Please let me know if you're seeing any type of issues as well too. But let's see where we're going from here. So who else we're hollering at? Well, I might as well just do the whole thing all over again. So we got Bruce is back in the house. Timothy is back. I saw your question coming back as well. Parker, hello, hello. Enoch, good to see you again there, my friend. Steve, hello, hello. B Wall, hello. Reverend Richard, hello, hello. Simon, hello, hello. Wayne, hello. Monty, what's going on, sir? I saw the little one. Congratulations. You just turned 1, right? Let's see. Chad, what's going on? I hope all y'all stuff is working. Doing well. Mousy, hello, hello. Ray B, what's going on? Mike, hello, hello. It almost makes me seem, Mike, that I need to have 2 web presenters so that the web presenter is streaming one place and the other one. I don't know. The good thing is the phone live streaming is not that intensive. It doesn't need a lot of data or anything. All right, everybody's saying it's sounding good. Because, I mean, I'm going through the web presenter like I normally would. So we're back to how we normally would do it. Brian, Keith, hello. Luiso, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hello. Keith, hello. Brian, hello. Now let's see. Is my supporter video gonna play now? Joy. Whatever. We'll have to come back to that. Lady Deborah, hello, hello. Alrighty, so let's just go ahead and get straight into it, folks, because we had a little snafus this morning. We're just gonna go ahead and fire away with your questions. And actually, before I do that, just to show y'all, let's do a speed test. So I don't think it was on my side, to be quite honest. I think it might have been Vimeo's. So if I try and do a test right now, I am using Verizon Fios, and that's my download speed. So I have sequential speed or matching speed. So whatever I'm getting down is the same thing I should have up. So yeah, I'm at 400. I'm supposed to be at 500 megabits per second upload. So it's not a data issue because even at 4K, I'm only using 35 megabits per second. So I'm not sure what in the world. I think it's Vimeo. That's what I honestly think. But anyway, hopefully stalling so I can get back to your question. So let's go to Timothy's. And good morning, AJ. What would be the ideal setup for 3 PTZs with a controller, Blackmagic switcher, 4 to 8 channels, etc., including all peripherals necessary to complete? What would be the ideal setup? All right, so how are we going to do this? Let's do draw IO. Let's switch over to here, take this down. And you're saying a 3 camera setup. So do you have a preference on what type of switcher you're using? That would be my question. I'm going to assume just going with the A10 Mini Extreme, because that's what we've been using a lot, A10 Mini Extreme. Oh, and on a side note, anybody that was inside the Facebook group, I was selling my A10 SDI Extreme. That is now gone. Somebody has actually purchased that. I actually got to ship it out right when this is over. So we still have some stuff available, but please hit me up to let you know, because they be going quick. All right, so you said 3 camera setup, 2, 3. Me personally, especially with the other ones that we just recently reviewed, and I have another camera that's coming in Monday to review. You just got to pick whichever the preference that you got. And I think somebody asked me what were my thoughts on the quality. For the most part, if the sensors are the same, the average person is not going to notice the difference. That's the easiest thing that I would say. But, and there's the call again. So I'm just going to say yes and then let that be over. So we got our joystick here. What else? Blackmagic switcher for the 8 channel. I would go with the A10 Mini Stream. That's why we're using this, including all the peripherals. So we would also need a network switch. I personally would do a PoE switch. Maybe a 8 port. So then all you have to do is get a fiber HDMI cable here, or you can go with an SDI and change this to an ATEM SDI Extreme, whichever one you want. You would just need one cable for that, but then for everything else, you would just run one cable to the camera for power, network, control, and everything. And that would be connected to the joystick the same way. And we connect to the ATEM the same way. That would give all of the network access. That would control. And then if we did a monitor, you'll have a monitor for your multi-view. Again, the beauty of the Extreme. And then if you had any other type of setup, so I'll say a projector, this could be anything. If you wanted to do something else, you could always add a HDMI splitter to do whatever that you need. So that output would go to here, to the splitter. And then you could feed that to the projector, any televisions, anything that you want. And I'm looking over just to make sure that the audio. Sean wanted to know while I'm answering this, is my church using this live streaming? No, it wasn't. I meant to set it up as a test, but we're not going to have service this Sunday or next Sunday. We're only going to have it for um, Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So I'm gonna try and set it up there because phone live streaming gave me a trial for a certain period of time. So I'm testing that out as well too. But I'll get back to that. So if you have your televisions or whatever, depending on your splitter, you can do whatever. I've done other things to show you how you can send this over to the Thor broadcasting. So you can send it to coax, and then you can send it to unlimited TVs if you want with just regular coax cable. And then also we have our audio mixer. Man, I tell you, I never thought I would hear the fire department and them go off as much ever since I've moved here. Um, and then your audio cable, whatever type of mixer that would come in. That would be that setup. That would be everything. Again, if you go with some of the AV cams, the ones that we did recently, you're talking about each one of those cameras would be $500 each. So that's 15. And then the joystick, not the one that I'm using right now until they have a firmware update. The one that I used is the Famaco one that I've been using for quite a while. Any of the other ones will work. It's just this one just has a issue. It's me diagnosing what I think it is. It's how it's sending the port information and the protocol to go to it. That's what I'm assuming, without me putting a hyperscan to scan the packets of data coming from the cable. But that's what I'm thinking. So anyway, that's 15 right there. Add the other joystick. That's another 500 on top of that. So that's 2,000 right here. This switch, you'll probably get that for 75. I'll just say 100 to make the math easy. So that's 2,100. The ATEM, that's 3,100. The cable, that's around $20. That's 3120. If you went with a splitter or even add that monitor on top of that, you're gonna add another. You're at $3,300 in that. Then your cables, you can get bulk cable or buy them individually if you want. I personally think that everybody should learn the skill of making your Ethernet cables. Then you don't have to worry about buying them anymore. You can get a roll of quote appropriate cable for PoE use for about like 1,000 feet of it for about $180, and then you can make as many cables as you want. So just say that's $3,500, and then for each one of these cables, I don't know the distance, so I'm just going to assume 150 feet. If you use fiber optic HDMI, they are going for about $75 each. So you're going to be in your sub $4,000 to do everything set up like that. So hopefully that helps you. All right, Timothy. So let me know if you want to break down. I can do a full listing of this under a kit that gives you all of that as well. So just let me know. So everybody's saying no buffering so far, so that's good. Mr. Clarence, hello. Enoch, same problem in OBS where it shows error in the graphics and video goes off if we switch off the power of the laptop. Very strange. I'm not too familiar with that one. B Wall wants to know, how do I connect the crowd microphone? Well, need some more details about that. What is your mixer? How is everything set up? Because originally, what you would want to do with a crowd mic, and let me actually save this as Timothy, and let's do a new one here. So the question was, how do you set up a crowd mic? Now, this is going to be me, without me knowing all the details of how your setup is. I'm just going to give a synopsis of how mine is. So this is our audio mixer. And I am thinking about moving this mic and putting a shotgun so it's out of sight, because I've had a bunch of people saying, could you please move your mic? It's distracting to have it inside the, I don't know. But anyway, so we got our audio mixer, and then we have our microphone. And I'll just use this one. And I'll say this is our crowd mic. Mic, not mix. Crowd mic. And coming in here, all right? So we got that here. Now, we need some speakers. Whatever. This isn't the way I wanted it to be. Nah, I'm not going to use that. We'll use this one, speaker. So say this is sanctuary, right? Actually, I just only need one. Sanctuary. All right. So normally your mixer is going to be going through here. I'm not doing any amps or nothing like that. You know, just know that the audio is going from your mixer to your speaker. That's how it's going out, right? Now, in a crowd mic, you wouldn't want this to play because your mic is aimed at the crowd, which is normally going to be in front or behind, in between where your speakers are. So you don't want the audio from this, just like any other microphone with your choir singing, and my screen just went out again. What in the world? You don't want the audio that's being picked up by this mic to play in the house because it's going to loop back on itself. So what you want to do, and how I have mine set up, let's look at our internet. Well, actually, let's do a computer. And let's say this is for our live stream, right? And I'll just say this live stream. So this is where I talk about where we have a separate bus and mix and aux, whatever you want to call it. And this is a aux mix. So this is alternative. Just imagine like you have different environments. You got the bathroom, you got the kitchen, and you have different environments that you want to play different music. So I would change the color. And let's actually get some more microphones. Microphone. So I'm going to use another one to simulate. This is, you know, the choir. And I need to do some real work because this monitor in front of me keeps going out. Pulpit. So all of these, just like any other mics, all you have going into your sound system so that everybody can hear, right? Now, the difference is all of this is going to go out. Now I'm going to change, let me thicken the cables so that you can see this a little bit easier because I'm going to color code these. And this monitor going out in front of me is really irking my last nerve right now. All right, so this is your main out. So that's what's going inside the sanctuary. Everybody can hear it. But then you have this mix. So what we want to do is instead, we're going to change this to where this is going to be this mix. All right. So it's still the right color. So purple is still going out. I'm color coding so y'all understand it. So purple is going to go here. But purple dotted line is only going to the mix. So the only people who are going to hear that mic is going to be there. So let me turn on my X32 and I'll kind of show you the same thing. All right, it's on. So in this setup, if I connect this, so right now, here's my crowd mic. So if I go here to config, you see right now, it's not going to the main. If I turned on main, now it is going to the main mix. Everybody in the house would hear it, and it would be a nightmare because it would be blowing up on top of itself. So right now I have it muted. I don't have it going out to the mains, nothing. But I have a live stream mix right here. And now that is. So anybody's listening on the live stream would be able to hear the congregation locally. I'm sorry, this monitor is going out like crazy. So I can't even see what I'm doing. Make sure my screens didn't get thrown off. All right. So, and then it still flickered. It must be a cable is loose or something up under the table. But anyway, that's how that would work. So again, in my mains, it's off. You can mute it, bring it all the way down, doesn't matter. Again, this is an X32, but mainly I'm not sending the signal to the out. If I go to my regulars, you see those mics, this would be the pulpit, this would be the choirs, this would be the instruments, whatever. They are being sent to my main out. My crowd mic is not. If I go to the live stream, all those mics are still live going to the live stream mix, but the crowd one is as well. So hopefully that makes sense. And I have a lot of work I got to do up under my table right now. So I don't know if y'all could see all this. I don't know what's going on with my screen here. I think it's my streaming PC. I don't know if y'all can see it. It's right there. I can't even point to it. But that's what's feeding this signal right here. Actually, where's it at? Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, so it's feeding this monitor right here in front of me. So it's blinking right here, so I can't see anything. It keeps going in and out, but whatever. Today has been very fun. So hopefully that answers your question. And be Wall. Chad Holmes wants to know, where did I get that on air? That it was from Amazon, and I see a couple of people have already responded, but I will put that in the chat where I got it from. Really, really slick little device. And it was like only like 25 some odd dollars. So like, for example, here it is right here. That's where I got it from. I didn't get the solid red one. I got that colored one. So about $28. And I will put a link in the description, in the chat, not the description, in the chat, if you're interested in it. On air sign. It is USB powered as well too. So I have mine plugged into a cell phone plug. And then it's going into a TP-Link switch so that I can turn it off when I turn everything on and stuff like that. So like, for example, if I go to it right now, so like right now I have it right there on air. I don't know if you can see it, but if I turn this off, there it goes. So that's how I have mine linked together. So really, really slick. Alrighty. Luiso, again, my apologies if I pronounce it wrong. I am streaming the church service on Wirecast, and it also outputs to the screens of the church, and it has a delay. How can I fix this, or what equipment do I need? If you're getting that delay and your computer is the funnel, it is processing. That is the issue that's causing that delay. You need it to be pretty fast. Like right now, I have mine going to my screen right now, and mine is in real time of what's going on, what's being sent. It's not delayed because the computer is fast enough, the GPU is fast enough. That's what I'm thinking. But again, that's without me knowing your system. What are the specs of the computer that you're using to do that? Let me know, and we'll readdress that. So we got everybody in. Back to Chad, he had an issue with his cameras, and he said, yes, adding a cheap router before the switch has been working great. Awesome. Atlanta Deliverance, good morning. Glad to be back. I was back in yeah. I don't even want to. Let me put it this way. AJ's not staying in this house past a year, because say it's petty, whatever. The property management for this house, Key Renter, is trash. They are trash. That's the best way I can say it. For me to have to call y'all for 2 months to get plumbing fixed, hire my own plumber to fix the issue, then you finally send a plumber out to look at something that I already paid for to get fixed, and then have the audacity to bill me for something that I already paid for personally to get fixed. I mean, the HVAC system went out. They sent the HVAC person here. They said they fixed it. 5 minutes after he left, it didn't work. I disassembled the HVAC and got it working. No, never gonna. Yeah, I ain't. We gonna rebuild, and we's moving out and looking at buying a house next year, because this is tomfoolery at its finest. Let's see, John. Thanks for live stream buffering issues. Yeah, it shows in Murder says sometimes stuff happens even to the best of us. Yep. Steve, we are switching from a projector and screen to 2 smart TVs. We will be using a fiber HDMI. Should we also run Cat6 to each TV for any reason, like accessing them over the network? Yes. It's always easier to run additional cables if you can. Like the TVs that I have here beside me, like this TV that is my multi-view. This used to be the TV that I had upstairs when I was in the apartment. This is connected over Ethernet. It has Wi-Fi, but I like to connect it Ethernet, and especially in your type of setup, why not? It just makes it easier. And what size TVs are you going with, if you don't mind me asking? And I answered this, but I'll answer it again. Good morning. Is your church using the live stream call? I like to hear how it sounds with more than one sound source coming in. I will test that again. I'm going to try and do that on our Christmas Eve, our Winter's Wondersland for Signs and Wonders. That is on next Friday. I will try and have that set up. Now actually log in and try and do that. So I need to change the name around and everything. Well, no, I'll keep my name on it because nobody in the church is going to know about it. So I'll do that. And that is at 6:30 next Friday. Oh, wait a minute. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I got a lot of stuff that's going on. I need to change up my schedule a little bit because I have some responsibilities of other places I need to be. But I will let y'all know. Back to John. Do you have a camera suggestion for unmanned overhead camera, maybe 15 feet above ground for shooting food prep for a cooking school? Something good, but not super expensive, PTZ or stationary. I'll be honest. So you can't see it. Let's switch over to this. I'm going to spin this around and I'm going to show you I've changed my overhead camera. So excuse my mess. Oh, that reminds me. I need to get down and install that S16 back in New Hope down in North Carolina. So what I'm using now, I used to use my Sony Handycam, but I actually moved to this 10X SMT AV PTZ, and it makes it easier for me to do this because I used to have all these cables that you see. I used to have them with a joystick. I mean, a link controller that was stuck to that arm. And I used to do it in focus and everything like that. But using this actually works. Now, this camera, this PTZ was, and honestly, to be quite honest, the PTZs that I've been reviewing would be a good alternative because that's a 10X and that cost me $400. This 20X that I was just looking at, this one is actually, the 500. So it all depends. And like, I don't know if you saw the video that I was doing at my friend's Chris's house where I'm running everything. That's why I put a camera in. That was the suggestion I had for him because he's doing the same thing. We were wiring his kitchen so that he can do videos for cooking shows on and renting out that space for people who wanted to do live streaming or video prep for a cooking channel. And that's the same suggestion that I was making for him. So the same cameras that we recently did, you would do that. If you don't need a 20X, you can go with that one. But for the money, you're saving $50, but you get a 20X zoom. You could always take that camera down and move it somewhere else if you need to. That would be my suggestion. You know who I am. Good morning. I want to start using OBS to stream instead of my ATEM stream. I'm having issues with the audio where only the mics from my mixer can be heard. Nothing else is coming through. Why? Now, how is your audio being routed? Is it still being routed through the Extreme and then to OBS? How is that working? And wait a minute, you have a second part. What setting am I missing? I've connected my USB-C from the ATEM to my laptop and selected the correct source. Can it be the issue with the cable not transmitting fast enough? Well, also in OBS, how are you also setting your audio? How are you setting that? Are you using that through the same USB-C connection, or are you doing something different? So like, for example, if I come over here, so in my setup right now, and we're going to have this loop over for infinity right now when I switch this off, all right? So if I turn on my ATEM here, what you want to do for me, I come down here and set my audio to the exact same thing. So this coming in this way. Now, if you don't do that, sometimes it introduces issues where you're bringing in your audio separately, like I'm doing right now. Sometimes, depending on your computer, you might have a problem. I don't do that. But how else are you routing your audio into your computer as well? Let's address that first, and then we can see if the cable is a problem. Mr. Clarence, and why is OBS not closing? Oh, there it goes. AJ, can the A10 products connect via DisplayPort for multiple monitors? Technically, yes. If you go from HDMI to a DisplayPort connection, yes, it should work, as long as it supports the resolution that's coming out of it, 1080p and whatever the frame rate. Then yes, it should, because it's still just a digital signal. So yes. Timothy, thanks so much, AJ. Very, very helpful. I really appreciate your schematic of the setup. Awesome. Much appreciated, as well as the budget. Hey, you are welcome. Philip Paul, hey, AJ, have you come across churches was doing live streaming, but for the next year they want to record due to less people attending church? No, I have not. And I was going to say be PC, but I just, me personally, what's the nicest way I can say it? I'm not going to be nice. I'm just mean, I think that's a stupid decision. But again, I'm not there. If I was there, if I was on the board and that was brought up, I would say that's stupid. That's just me. And want to record due to less people attending. I think that ministry isn't about how many people are sitting in seats or how many people are watching on the live stream. Ministry is ministry. Let all who want to hear come and hear. It doesn't matter how many people are sitting there. So if the thought is, let me stop live streaming so that more people are forced to come into the church, I think that's a wrong perspective. That's just me. So I'll leave that one alone. Now, Timothy, are you talking about breaking it down as in the list for Kit? Let me know, because most of the time I'm jumping through a bunch of questions, so it's out of order, the comment, excuse me. So let me know if that's what it is. Patrick, what is your experience with using NDI as a source from your cameras? I mean, it works well. I mean, like when I was using OBS just now, that camera, the PTZ right here, is the one that was being sourced inside of OBS. But again, I know my setup. Plus, I'm the only one here, so I don't have any traffic issues. I personally do not install NDI for any of the churches who have and set up anything solely from an NDI setup when a church hires me, because most of the time when they hire me, I'm able to pull cables and do everything. That being said, NDI works great if you have complete control over your network and you understand the network. So like if I did NDI, what I would do is put all, like right now, I don't have to do it here, but like what I would do is make a separate VLAN, a virtual local area network on my switch, to where all of the media stuff, I actually already do this. I do all the security cameras on a separate network so everybody can't access it. I do the guest account on somewhere separate. I do administration on a separate network. I do the media on a separate network. I would do the same thing for our NDI cameras so that I know there's no way anybody's going to mess with that network, bog it down with traffic, anything like that. The only thing that's going to be on there is nothing but NDI cameras. If you have an understanding of that and you can set that up and you can maintain that, then NDI is great and it works perfectly fine in those type of scenarios. Most of the time, the people I've dealt with, they want something that is a turnkey solution. So going back to answer your question, yes, NDI works great as long as you have all that other stuff in place and you are confident that if there's an issue, you have more than enough people who can rectify any issue that you have. That's my experience with that. Akash K, how can I start my AV career? Give me some ideas. Start with where you're at and what you got. Like for me, I don't have a degree. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science and programming. That is my degree. video, all this other stuff was something I always wanted to do. So, how I started my career, I saved up money, bought a camera, and that was before the cameras on your phone were so good. I bought a camera back in high school and I used to take with me on band trips to record. And then I would just buy another camera when I was out in the Marines. My dad and my aunt were big into photography. They would give me cameras and I would play around with them. Um, I started trying to, ever since the Matrix, I started trying to simulate what I saw in the Matrix as badly as possible. And I just played and played and played and played, experimented, practice, and just got around as much knowledge as possible to where I became confident. And then, like I told somebody the other day at a church, what I used to do is when I wanted to start learning the AV stuff, I would be at like a church running the AV for a wedding. I would go to the couple, especially if whether they had a videographer or not. I would go in and say, "Hey, do you mind if I record your wedding? And I'll give you a copy for free. I just want to use it to perfect my skill." And I just ask if I have your permission to do that. I would give it to you for free. And all I ask for the permission to record it as well as your honest opinion of it so that I can get better. I did stuff like that. I did that for football games. I did it for funerals. I did it for a whole bunch of other stuff. And you just need to build up your portfolio and your expertise. So I used to be like when I did YouTube, starting YouTube, it's like, man, or at church, I'm like, man, I want to perfect my craft. So I started making content, meaning that, okay, let me record the praise dancers, let me record the choir. And now I take that recording and I perfect my craft. That's what I did. So hopefully that helps. Atlanta Deliverance, yeah, that is not in my control. That's the nature of YouTube. So my apologies, but I'm glad the buffering is gone. Streets of Destiny, hello. Candy Lester, thank you for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. And then you know who I am. It says another thing is the audio from OBS is very choppy, sounds flat and dull. Yeah, I would have to look more into that. My knee-jerk reaction is the computer, but again, I don't know. Just from experience, that's what I've seen. Streets of Destiny is saying, setting up outside for a Christmas outreach dinner tonight at 7 p.m. Outstanding. Naomi, good morning. Looking to get the Behringer 32 with a digital sound box. Can you do a diagram for a talkback and routing sound to live stream? Sure. I actually have something similar at my church. So let me do as best as I can for your talkback. So the talkback is going to work similar to what I just did with the crowd mic, but you only want certain people to hear it. So, and of course my monitor blinks when I just do that. So let's see if we go ahead and make one. So for me, say you want to have I'm going to do a mix for the talkback for everybody here in your ears. So I would go here to a mix and I would say, let's use number 6. I'm going to call this band mix. So this will be that everybody can hear and all this other stuff. And I'm going to change this color so it makes it easy to tell which one is which. All right. So that would be my band mix. All right. I would route this to whatever output. So say I have an output and I want to say, which one do I want? And these are the jacks that are in the back that are going to go directly to in-ears or whatever, which reminds me, we have a Phoenix Pro in-ear review that's coming up. The box is going to be here Monday. We're going to do a review on that. This is a 4-unit in-ear monitor system that is around like $400. Really excited about that. So anyway, on here, we're going to have different outputs. So my board right now has 8 outs. So I can come in here and say, oh, I'm going to plug output number 3 or 4 into whatever. So I'm going to assign that to the mix 6. So you see, that's what it's changed to. So whatever I plug into outputs 3 and 4, that's going to get this mix that we just made. All right. That's the first thing. Now let's go back to our mics and I'm going to select the band mix. So you see now, that's why I like the color in this. So in here, say number 10 is going to be and I actually got to do this as well too. Piano, talk back. And then I'll say this one is drum talk back. And I might as well use the stuff that I need to do myself anyway. Talk back. And then I'll do another one. Oregon talk back. All right. So what we want to do, if we go back to our mains, we definitely don't want these going out in the house because everybody's going to hear that. So, but we do want to go to our mix and we want to turn these up so that everybody can hear. So if they're talking, they're the only ones that are going to hear that. That is not going into the house. That's it. So anybody can talk, they can hear each other, and that's good. Now you might want to include if this was like, you know, piano, organ, and then, you know, drums. I'll just do one. You know, so, you know, you might want to have this up so they can hear it. Or if you only want to talk back that nothing else goes in, this would be the setup. So they can hear each other talk, but nothing else is coming in. So as you can see across all the channels, nothing else. I mean, you can even turn them off if you want to, but they're all the way down. So it's not that big of a deal. But at this point, for the mix number 6, which is band talk, the only channels that are going to be working are the ones that we just set, right? Those are the only 3 that are going to be heard. And then this is being routed to the output jack physically on the sound system of outs 3 and 4. So whatever you're plugged into that, that's what's going to be sent over there. So hopefully that is very simplistic, but that's really all it is to it. All right. All right, I'm not going to do that one. Francisco, what is going on, sir? All right, I think I got that question. Got that question. All right, we're on page number 1. Hello, hello from India. Thank you for stopping by. And you have a question. How to connect the camera through Mixer for live streaming? How do you connect the camera through the mixer? I wouldn't do that. I would maybe connect the mixer to the camera, but I need to know what type of camera are you using? Next question. What do you think of the Facility PTZ controller? I've used that in a couple of times. Which model? I've used the dark gunmetal gray one, and I've used a bunch of other ones, and they work great. It's all dependent on which one that you want to use. Though, because some of them have a quick access to go directly to the camera. Other ones you have to dial in the camera to get to it. That was the only difference I've noticed. Gordon, hello. Towler Media. I have a church that is wanting to go with an 85-inch TV. We did that at Glen Allen Baptist Church. Screen up front, one on each side, but they want 2 TVs out in the nursery and the other office in the back. How can I get audio to the TVs there? Just send it over your the data cable that's going is going to send all the audio there if you want to the TVs. So what I've used is the Thor HDMI modulator that will take HDMI in, convert it into a digital channel, and send 1080p video as well as audio over a regular coax cable, and that can go distributed anywhere, and that shows up as a digital channel on the TV. So it might be 40.1 or whatever, and that will send your video and audio, and you don't have to worry about a separate cable. You're going to send that video and audio, and it's going to come through the TV. Even if you ran SDI and convert it, it would be the same way. But again, how are you bringing in your video and audio in the first place? And then any of those devices could be possibly hooked up to distribute that sound that way. Back here. The Facility PTZ camera controller PoE. Yeah, I've used that. Yeah, I've used that a bunch of times. I've installed that at Mount Carmel and a bunch of other ones. Works great. Works great without an issue. D. I'm setting up a broadcast setup with 2 cameras via Cam Link and OBS. How can I set it up so each one is recording for later editing? There is a plugin that I personally have not used. It's a, and somebody sent it to me here on the chat and told me about this. OBS, so recording. It's a plugin that you would add. I'm trying to find it because somebody told me about it. I think the folks over there at Streaming Geeks actually mentioned it. Where is the plugin? I hate when they bury it. I'm gonna have to find it. There is a plugin that will allow you to do that. I'm trying to find. No one's providing the link directly to it. Oh, thank you. Yes, somebody finally did. All right, so here's the plugin. I will put a link directly to it. And this is for Source Record. Now, again, I have not tested this, and I don't even know if this works with version 28. And this is the exact same one that somebody told me about. So this is how you can record each one. So this is OBS ISO recording. I'll put that link in the chat, and hopefully that helps. I will probably test this out as well. Actually, I'll forget it. Let's go ahead and just try it right now. Plug in the OBS. Let's download that. The installer. You see, we living on the edge, folks. We just trying new stuff. Look at this. Look at this. All right, let me close that. Now, where did I put that file? I was gonna say, y'all see that board right there? That's classic. That's classic me back when I was 13 playing in my dad's church. Anyway, let's go ahead and run this. OBS 12. That ain't right. Yeah, it makes me think maybe it's not looking. Well, let's just see. Let's just go through it and just see what it does. All right, so we got that. Now let's open up OBS. I'm really hoping it actually works. WebSockets. Let's see. Settings. Does it add anything there? Output. I don't know what else it says. Add a filter that allows you to record. Oh, it's a filter? That's interesting. So let's see. But where would they place that? That is really strange. I don't know what type of. I don't know. It must not work with this version. So I'm gonna have to come back and test that out. Hey, I tried. I don't know what that would be, but we'll look back into that and see what we can do. Let's see where we left off at. All right. Back to Tyler Media. They have an analog Mackie mixer, and I usually run HDMI splitter, but have to figure out how to tap mixer to HDMI splitter. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can get something like this. This is a audio to SDI where you can take audio in and it will send it to SDI out. If you want to do it that way, it'll embed audio into that. But if you have your mixer like that, I mean, technically, if you send that audio and merge it like into an ATEM, even OBS or any type of computer that will merge both of those together and then do an output to that, um, that was simplified for you so that you don't have to worry about how it's sent. So, like right now, in my setup right now, I have everything coming into my ATEM, and then the HDMI out is going to a splitter that feeds the TVs here, the monitor that's right on that camera so I can see what's going on, the one that's in front of me over to here, and it's sending audio. I just have it all muted so that I don't have it playing back over. I think that might be an easier thing. That way you only have to worry about one cable going to each one of the TVs. Tosin, AJ, what's the name of the plugin you once installed and docked on the right side of the OBS screen to easily overlay for easy overlay of contents regarding of each scene change? I'm not recalling that one. The only other one that I had to the right is when I was using the lower thirds plugin and the Bible one. That's the only dock I've had to the side. I recall. Um, I don't recall any of those other ones. So sorry about that. I'm not. If I may have forgotten about it. If y'all can refresh me on it, I can look and see. Steve, 85-inch TVs in the front and upgrading our back TV to a 65. Okay. Should we use a drywall lift to install them, or can too strong? Man, I got a lift. We had a lift when we installed it, and it was about 6 of us. Now, the TV I used, it was encased in steel, and it was very heavy. So we had a drywall lift that Mr. Hicks built a platform. So we had 2 people standing on that, and we were bracing it. And then we had somebody at the bottom, obviously cranking it up. And then we had 2 people on the top of the banister so that we were able to lift it high enough with the lift. And we just lifted it up ourselves, maybe an inch, just to get it up on the hook. Y'all, I would heavily invest in a lift to help you with that, because that, at least the 85-inch screen TV I got was heavy. John, do you know if the PTZ Optics iPad app works on that PTZ you showed for overhead? Yes, it does. It does. Philippo, while I am live streaming, at times my audio break, meaning the audio goes off and on in a split second. Streaming from OBS, CPU usage is around 70. That is super high. While streaming, any thoughts? Yeah, that is high. When I'm streaming, ideally, I don't want to go over 50, to be quite honest. Because you got to realize, if it's using 70%, that means it's leaving the computer 30 just to process any of the IO that's going back, running the operating system, running the program that you're using. So I like to have a lot of headroom. Like in all the systems I'm doing here, I build them over spec. So even the people who've reached out to me and I build a computer for them, it's over spec, meaning that even topping it out at its max streaming capability, it doesn't go over 35%, because I need a lot of headroom just in case. So I think you're pushing it a little bit, and that's probably what's causing some of your issues. My assumption. MA16V3. Are you still using the AVideo1 PTZ controller? Can you show what it does? Show that it does control zoom speeds. I think our current controller hates our Famacos for zoom speed. Yes, I am using that. This is the one that right now I've reached out to them. There is a issue with the controller that I have. So there is the joystick that I am using right now. So I'm trying to find which one it is. So right here, here's the speed by default that I have. That's my tilt speed. And then I push it in, now it's my zoom speed. So I pushed it in and turned it down to 20. So if I zoom in now, that's me pushing it all the way to the limit. All right. So, and that's how slow this is going. So now if I change my speed back up to 100, now be mindful when you do this that there are two settings. I've had this issue before that there is a setting in the camera, certain cameras, as well as the joystick. Now, when I first had this issue at Antioch, I had the joystick set at the highest speed, which at that PTZ Optics app, the highest speed was 8. But the PTZ was actually able to go as high as 12. Now, from my old coding days, that gave a false positive to the joystick, so it's looking to be higher than what it did. So when it went higher than what the keyboard could recognize, it actually recognized that as a negative speed. So it just went crazy. So what I did is I found the highest setting on the joystick, which was 8, and set the PTZ to 8, and then it worked great for me. So just be mindful if there's a setting like that. And I left my picture on. Back to you know who I am. I am running my audio through the USB cable, so the identical same setting that I normally use. I run sound from my Mackie 1/4 to 3.5 to the ATEM, then USB-C to the laptop for OBS. I would try and change a different cable. But I mean, has this happened just all of a sudden? Was it an update that's causing that issue? That's the first thing I like to play around with. Philip Paul, AJ, are you familiar with the Raspberry Pi? Yes, I have used that on multiple occasions, as well as digital signage at my church. I've used it for a phone PBX. I've done it as a Pi-hole server that captures traffic and spam that goes to the network. I've used it on multiple occasions, turned it into a emulating station that plays a bunch of stuff, NES, and games that I owned. NES, Super NES, and things like that. Bunch of awesome stuff. All right, so the question back here is the Alpha 6400 for directly audio mixture through OBS. So is that through a 3.5 that's going into the computer, or is that USB? How is that? Back to Patrick. Can you show the same video input to an in-house projector and live stream simultaneously? Can you show the same video input to an in-house projector and live stream simultaneously? Would it matter if the ATEM is live streaming versus streaming? No, it doesn't matter. And like in my setup at my church, the way I have it, and that's how originally I had it set up in the sanctuary. The TVs in the sanctuary that were flanking the digital wall, they showed the exact same thing that the live stream was doing, which all I did is that was a part of the splitter. The main out from the ATEM, when we were only streaming from the ATEM, that was going directly through a splitter and fed the entire building, as well as those 2 TVs in the sanctuary. So whatever was being live streamed showed up on all those TVs everywhere. But the digital wall was directly connected to ProPresenter. So in the TVs, that would be the same way. If I ran that splitter to the digital wall, it would show all of the exact same way. So you just need to separate it. And that same setup is with the live streaming. I do the same thing. Now, if I wanted everybody to see what's on the live streaming, see, I introduced OBS so that I could separate them. So that if you're in the building, you'll see everything. But at any point in time, OBS gives me a door that I can open up and say, oh, Pastor needs to do some house cleaning, and what needs to be said doesn't need to go out publicly. So I can do a be right back and shut the door in OBS so nobody online can hear it, but anybody inside the building will hear and see what's going on. If you wanted to always do that, instead of splitting from the ATEM, split from OBS. And then everybody can see the output from that, which is whichever direction you want to go. All right, that wasn't to me. Hey, D, you are welcome, and Merry Christmas to you, too. Thanks, Mike. That was the same one I was looking up. I knew somebody had mentioned it. And Mike suggests Use sparingly. Your computer needs to be good enough to do the recording as well as the other stuff. Yep. Let's see. You know who I am. Recently purchased a Nitro 522. That's the same system I have, but mine is the AMD one. What GPU did you have in it? Is that a 1660 or is that a 2060, a 3060? What GPU you got in there? Your Tura. What program will you recommend to show picture presentations with song in the church program and be able to share the presentation with members? I would use Presenter by Worship Tools as a starter because it's free. That's what I would use. Hello, ma'am. I finally got the church media equipment connected, but have an issue starting a live service from Facebook. Do you have a video showing how to stream via Facebook? Yes, I do. And just be mindful that Facebook changes their stuff like it seems like they change it every 5 minutes. But like I just did this with a couple out in Texas last week. So, I mean, not last week, yesterday. So in here, I got a couple of them. If you look through it, I would say this is the most recent. Nothing significant has changed in this. I just would say, just like with everybody, even though Facebook says YouTube is way better than this now, Facebook, you can check off a persistent key. So supposedly the key doesn't change, but Facebook, whatever, changes that. YouTube is a little bit different, but this would be my suggestion to help you with that. So I will put a link to that in the comments. Take that out there, and there you go. Awesome. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different, folks. I just want to give. I did this as a video, and so I'm gonna challenge y'all. Give me a sermon topic. Something simple, but I want to show you how I would make a thumbnail for that. Because again, thumbnails are what's going to get people to look at your stuff. So again, if I cut back, this is something that I must say that I'm ashamed at myself that I've allowed my class to drop. I've just been so busy with stuff going on. But I don't know. If I go back in time and you see my thumbnails, I have been evolving these and changing them, hopefully to make them more inquisitive. So like here, I'm learning my lesson. More text on the screen is a bad thing. You don't need to have the same text that's in the video. It doesn't need to be on the image. It's blocking. That's what I'm learning more about. It's more of, do you provide some intrigue, some curiosity to make people want to come in? Like this one right there, this one. But over time, I'm changing a lot of my stuff. Like this one, I don't have nothing on there. And that actually got around like 8,000 views on it. I have a lot more with text. Now, the same matching one for the Mac, I actually put text on it, but that one only has like 1,000. So we had this user guide that I honestly thought was going to take off more than it did, but it didn't. So give me an idea of a sermon video that you would think so I can make a thumbnail and show you how my process would be. Because like you've seen, as much as I don't like putting my face necessarily on videos, but that's what they said a lot of people have been doing. So like if I go here right now and look on here, let's see how many of these have somebody's facial expression on it. You know, you see an emotion on that one. Not that Batman has any stuff. And rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. Man, that was a sad loss. If y'all don't know that, Kevin Conroy was the epitome of the Batman voice from the animated series and everything. He passed with some, I think, throat cancer about a month ago. So we're looking for a lot of expressions and stuff like that. So I'm just giving you my thoughts on that because simple is best. And we'll come back to that and want to give an idea. John wants to know, do you have a link to the PTZ you showed for your overhead? Sure, I will provide that. And I'm going to let y'all know that I do have a lot of stuff that thankfully clients have been providing me. And there's no need for me to keep a lot of this stuff. So be on the lookout. I think I'm going to do it on AJaytheCEO.com. I'm going to start listing some of these things that I can sell to y'all. I'm going to sell them at a discount like Patrick. Hopefully this doesn't bother you, Patrick. Patrick is the one who bought the ATEM SDI Extreme from me for his ministry, because I used it as a tutorial video, and I'm not using it anymore. So I want to make sure, got him at a deal, got it, I think like $300 less than what it originally price is. So I want to start doing some more stuff like that, because again, even though I have a bigger space, I don't have that much need for a lot of things in here. So most of the time I'll do a review, then I'll be up and out. And I'm trying to stall to try and find this camera. It is a SMT AV 10X camera. There it goes. Oh, excuse me, 12X. So that is the one. And again, that's going for $419. Add another 80, you would get the NDI one. So I will put a link in the description for this. And again, if y'all see the description, I always have this. All the links I have affiliate codes, and they pay me a little bit for what I'm doing, but it doesn't come out your pocket. So again, I appreciate that. And for those from last week, my Envato Elements affiliate link is down below now in the description. So if you want to get that, I use that for everything, which I'm going to use for the sermon topic as well too. And just show you that, I mean, that thing is a very worthwhile investment. I've been using that for years, from client stuff as well as personal stuff for the YouTube channel and for business, and it works great. So that was there. Back to Patrick. If we have an external audio mixer, can you show how you can get the individual inputs to vMix to make a separate live stream mix? The main mixer is used for the house. I don't know about that one, Patrick. If you want to have each individual one, to do something like that, you would honestly probably want to use like a DAW or something like that, which Otis or Chuck, they are way more familiar with that than me. That's where you're bringing in every single channel and you can individually address them. You would need to have a specialized capture card, audio capture card to do that, or some type of DAW receptor, transmitter, receiver to do that individually. I am not aware of how to do that directly without manually having a ton of inputs to do that. Or you send everything over to another digital mixer, which is then being sent over USB. But again, I think that's a bit much. If you only did live streaming for church and not for any other setting, do you think you would still use a Stream Deck, or is it mainly for bigger, more complex productions? For me, I use a Stream Deck. For me, I use it for simplicity. For me, instead of me reaching over, I got the controls to do everything like you're seeing me do right now. I use a Stream Deck in other churches mainly for simplicity, so that I set up the Stream Deck that's all they have to touch. They don't have to worry about anything. So do I need it? No. How I use it with all the stuff, yes, it makes my life easier. And I use a Stream Deck to simplify if I know that I'm installing it and I need to make it as simple as possible for anybody who's running it. Sorry, AJ, I'm actually referring to a plugin that can be docked and used for adding lower thirds. Yes, doesn't require being added to each source. Yes, that will, you don't have to, you will need to add it because it's sending a signal. So both of those plugins, the animated lower third one, which is the same one that I still have here. Let me cut this off and bring you back over here. So in here, let me bring that dock up. Bible, lower third. So in here, see, I can kick this off all day long and it's not going to work because it's looking at this source. That's what's feeding this. So that's what's doing that. So yeah, you would have to add this to every one of these. So if I wanted to have it during offering, then I would need to add that source here. And it's just it's a link to a file. But in the same way, it comes with the Bible app. So if I look at James 1, if I do this, See, I still would have to bring in the Bible one. And where did I do that one at? I think I didn't even add it on here from deleting it. So yeah, you would still need to add it, unfortunately. So there's nothing I know of that will send it directly, because I think the flow of how OBS is made is you do different sources for a scene. So that scene would need to be universal if you want it on every layer. Back to Sean, and I'm stalling for that. I'm waiting for the comments to come up from a scripture standpoint. Do you have your multi-view set up in more than one location? I'm noting how accurate you always are with your cuts. It depends. So like right now, in my setup right now, this is my multi-view. So if I turn this around, I have that monitor right there normally shows the program because it's too small for me to see. It just helps me line myself up when I'm doing a shot. Now, sometimes when I'm doing something, the screen that I have, and y'all ain't going to be able to see it. Let me cut over to this camera. And I'm in the way right now. So this little screen right here, I have it showing what's coming from my web presenter, so I can just monitor the activity. Most of the time, I would have a duplicate of the multi-view right in front of me so that I can make changes and stuff like that. That's how I normally would have mine. So I hope that helps y'all. All right. All right, Sean, I got you. Hopefully that answers you. Pat, hey AJ, how are you? I am great. Hey, how do you set up your preview and program in OBS to view camera switching before it streams to the individual? I keep closing OBS. I need to just leave it open. That is just going into studio mode. But again, when you're going into that preview, it depends. It's not the same as with the ATEM unless you're individually connecting everything. So like right now, I'll do it this way. I'll bring in my NDI one, and then I will bring in my OBS one. So in here, this is my NDI camera. If I turn on studio mode and I change to a different output, now I'm seeing it like that. But that's only because I have two separate sources. You know, and it's looking like it's going on into infinity because of this shot that I got. But yeah, the only reason why I'm able to do this is because I have the NDI is something completely separate. That's one input. Then I have my ATEM. That's another input. That's two. I don't know why I was holding my hands up, but it's just two separate inputs. So that's how that will work. And that's the same way how it is with the ATEM. So over here, I have all my inputs over here, and that's how I'm seeing it. For you to have something like this in OBS, I mean, they do have it, but you would have to have 8 to 16 individual inputs or NDI inputs to do something like that. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me see, catching up on a question here. Number one, Philip Paul want to know, the Raspberry Pi, what can I use as a computer? Google Chrome or Microsoft Word? Google Chrome or... I'm not understanding your question, Philip Paul. Mr. Stage Bully 1, how can I make a church intro? Well, it all depends. Like, we can go into, you know what, let's go into it. This is where I was talking about the Envato Elements. This is where I really like this because it gives you a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to see if I can make one really fast. It all depends on what I get. So here, if we go to elements.envato. And before I do this, please, if you have not done this, I've been endorsing in Envato for years. I've been using them for at least over 8 to 9 years. If you go to Video Hive, this is their main one. They have a bunch of one: Audio Jungle, Video Hive, Graphic River, Code Canyon, Photo Dune. 3D. So it's a bunch of them that they have. If you sign up for their account, I mean, just make an account every month, they give out free stuff. So these are the free ones that they have that they give out every month, and grab your December stuff for free. New ones are coming out next month, and I've collected them for a while. So that's one. This is where you buy these individually. Elements is their stuff where it's a yearly plan that you can get access to a bunch of, not the latest and greatest. It's ones that they've handed off from those 7 websites and compile here. So you're asking about an intro. So I would just do a video intro. And see, I have templates here. I want to get something that's simple, and I don't want to use After Effects because After Effects is good, but it's booty because it just crashes like crazy. So I'm going to use DaVinci Resolve as best as I possibly can. And I can look at samples of here. So I'm going to use this one because I'm not going to change anything. Well, no. I want something short. That's too long. So I can change the length, the resolution. I'm going to look at something that's 1080p. It's for DaVinci Resolve. I'm going to do an opener, and I want something short. So let's see. Can we do this YouTube one? Yeah, I'll do this because that'll be simple. So I can pick my plan. I mean, my project with this one is going to give me a license so that if anybody ever said there was an issue with it, I have a license for it. So I'm going to take this one. Here are my files. I'm going to go ahead and extract all of that. And here's my project file. I need to copy this path. So let's just double click on this. It's going to open up DaVinci Resolve, and I need to close some stuff here. And this is the same way it works with if you have Photoshop, anything like that. It's going to give me a project. So I'm going to say YouTube intro. And I've done this on all of my stuff as well, too. Most of the time, they make this plan, and then you just drag and drop everything. All right, so let me change this to single screen so that y'all can see everything. And this is similar to the template how I made the modern intro that I put that you can download and get from my website if you're using DaVinci Resolve. And this is the one I'm going to be making some more of as well. So first, I need to move all of the assets because it has a different path. I need to set this path to where I place the files to. Actually, let's search for it instead. Relink media files. In the world? Why did they dig that so deep? New intro. AE. Dagnabbit. All right. They changed these. So all of these are under C. And what's that path? Footage. Good Lord. What? So I don't understand why they do stuff like this. So anyway, I need to find a similar path. I need to relink this to that path. So let's paste this. And that was under, shrink this so I can actually see it. And that was under C disk. Works, YouTube, After Effects, AE, After Effects, footage, motion array, 3 others. My God. How about I'm just going to do this because this is a pain. All right, fine. That clip was not found. This is the only issue that I have with this because of how they have it. So we got to go back up one folder. There it is. And we need to set these other ones as well too. I just need to change them to where now that they're on my drive where they're at. So we need to back up this project assets. Yay. All right, now we're done. So let's go to edit. And as you can see under here, under logo, we have to go in here to our logo and we need to change that to use our own stuff. So I'm gonna go to logo. All we do is just add our image here. So I'm gonna add my own logo here that I got from Fiverr that I had somebody make. So I'll just bring my logo here. And now I'm gonna change it to fit the length of this one. All right, that's it. Now let's go back to our, you can add our main render. You can also come in here, and this one is a tagline. So this is where we have text, and I'll just say AJ, the CEO. So those are the only things I changed. So if, and I don't like that text color, but as you can see, let's go here and let's render it. Let's see what it looks like. I'm just gonna say YouTube intro, and I'm gonna put this on my renders path. And it looks like there's a image missing. So boom, that was it. So now if I open it up, it rendered really fast. If I look at it and play it, there it is. There's my intro. Really nice. I would change that text so you can see it, but there's the intro. Really, really simple. And again, it's a bunch of stuff that you can get from Envato Elements down below. I've used them for everything that you're seeing on here. Like this was from there. The one for my email is from there. The intro that y'all see, this one, that's from there. Everything. I just drag and drop. So hopefully that makes sense. So we got some more time here. So, all right, we're back here to, we got the Great Commission. His pain, your gain. All right, John, I like that. So how I would do that. Now, again, what do y'all think? Let's design this together. How do y'all think that would work? His pain, your gain. So what I think when I hear that, I imagine somebody lifting weights, but the spotter, I mean, you got somebody that's bench pressing. They're doing all the pain, but then you're seeing somebody who's not even on the bench. They are getting gains off of that. How would you do that? So that's in my mind. At least that's what pops up. So for me, first thing I would do for YouTube is still 2080 by 720. If you want to do that, I do it that way. I can always increase the size if I want to. All right, so now let's go back to Envato Elements. If you don't want to get that, you could always use pexels.com, and we'll do bench press. Now, again, I am not aware. Sometimes you get some wild stuff on here. So, you could have something like this. I'm sitting back thinking of an image like that. So again, his pain, your gain. So the other thing I'm thinking about, maybe a picture of Jesus on the cross or somebody suffering. If you could get the same person, in my mind, I'm sitting back thinking somebody suffering, but then somebody else like having a great day or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Ooh, I'm sorry, John. I just saw this next one. I like this one. Atlanta Deliverance is saying, stop playing with your demons. Okay. So what I'm going to do, let's play with that one. All right. So let's look at demon. Let's see what we get. So we want to say stop playing with your demons. So that's not giving me exactly the grotesque ones that I want. So in my mind, it says stop playing with. I'm thinking about, let's do a television mock-up. And I want to use all templates here. And let's do playing video games. Because I'm thinking, because again, we wanted to get something that's going to be like, ooh. All right, so sometimes they have these that are stock videos, but we can always turn this into a static image. So let's see. And again, I know this is cliched that a demon looks like this, but I want to play around with some stuff. So I'm going to use this one. Let's download this image. Now, again, I'm using a static image as well. So, I'm using the video, but I'm going to turn it into a static image. And then I know this is a crazy one to look up. I want to do poking. Somebody poking somebody, not poker. Stabbing. I want to have somebody just like, I don't know. Maybe I want to do the video game one. I think I do want to do that one. So, playing video games. So I want to have over the shoulder, somebody's looking at a television. So television, I'm playing around. This is how my thought process goes in. So my apologies, folks. So we have this. And we want to see about, man, that's stop playing with your demons. And so I want to have a television. If I could have somebody playing video games, that's what I have. Somebody playing with a joystick. Yeah, something like this. Let's see. But I want somebody's expression not being super happy. Ooh, something like this. But that's out of focus. This one is good. This one is good. I'm going to do this one. All right, so I got this guy playing video games, right? So I'm going to download this one. This is just me. You don't have to follow this. All right, so we got one image. Let me drag this aside. Now we're back here. So let me bring over that image that I just did. So we got this one. Let's blow this up so it fills up the entire side, the entire screen. All right. Now what I'm going to do is bring over this goat demon or whatever it's called. Oh, and that's perfect. It's in the shape. So now what I want to do is take this, and I need to have a black background. So what I'm going to do is take this scene right here, and I'm going to transform this and skew this so that I can match the perspective. Not skew, excuse me. I need to do distort. So I'm going to change this to that corner. Change that to that corner of the screen. And then we're going to hide some of this so that it looks right and from a perspective standpoint. All right. So something like this, normally I would want somebody to catch off. So again, it's the vision of how I would do something like this to where it's like, and we got to add a little blur onto, no, I want this drawn out so that people are focused on it. And then, you can put evil, put text or whatever. So that's how normally I would do something. So that's rough, but let's go ahead and give some love to some other folks to give me some different ideas. That's how I would play with that one. John, thank you for becoming a partner. I appreciate it. Kenny was talking about the prodigal son. Now, how would I do something like that? I think this one will be simple as well too. So we want the prodigal son of somebody walking. So I would use pixels for that. Man walking. So I'm going to make this really, really simple. Not even anything fancy. Just want to play around with how this image comes in. So like I could use this one. I mean, that's a static one right there. But we're talking about the prodigal son coming back. So I'm liking that image. And I want another one where somebody's walking back from some craziness. So let's use this one. And then let's do a war zone. Or is it, I don't know. I'm just thinking, want somebody coming back from a bad location. But let's just do it simple. Let's do this one. Now, again, this is Pexels. This is free. You want to give credit to the person who's doing it. So let's pull this image over. And again, I'm not going to even put text on some of these. I might put a church logo or something. But let's blow this one up. And let me show you how we want to play around with how people look and see stuff. So we got this image right here. Now with Photoshop, they actually have this AI that can actually find people and objects. So I'm going to select just him. And it should isolate just him. Yay, did a very good job. So I'm going to copy and paste that in a different layer. So he's actually in front. You can't tell. It's just him by himself. Let me turn off all these other layers. So it's just him, right? So I'm going to blur everything else because the human eye will always look towards what's in focus. And that's way too much. So something like that. And then I would put a glow around him. And a outer glow. Something like that. And then he says the prodigal son. I would take some big old font. Prodigal son. Let's crank that up to 250. That's too big. Let's do 200. I would center that. I'm gonna, now this one, I would put some context to. So something like this, I'll just do the drop down. And now what I'm gonna do is change the size of both of these. Let's crank this up. Maybe a little bit too big. Something like this, right? And because I made that layer, I'm going to put this text in between. And now you can see now I've got the text in between the person. So you could probably blow this text up a lot bigger. That's how I would do something like that. Let me know what y'all think. Would y'all, if y'all saw something, then you can always put the church logo or something like that if you wanted to. But I mean, it's drawing your attention to that. Maybe I might want to put a scripture reference in the side or something like that. What do y'all think? A honeymoon with Jesus. That's interesting. Joseph's tears. Let me know. So, I mean, what you know what, that's what I'm going to do on the Facebook group. And I didn't call that out. If you're not a part of Facebook group, folks, you might want to be a part of that. We're going to do some other stuff. And I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to put a challenge out there. And I want to see, I'm going to give a topic. And let's actually do this. Let's use the prodigal son on the Facebook group. If you are a part of that, let me see your creative juices flow, your imagination on how you would make a thumbnail over the prodigal son. Let me know. Because again, this is another skill that we can actually get better at as well too. John, will you autograph the items before you ship them? Thanks for providing. Hey, you're welcome. Do you know if you can retro the Envato link? I signed up for the free 7-day trial and forgot to cancel, so now I have it for a year. I wanted to know if it's, I don't believe so, John, but I appreciate that. Back to Patrick. So for the live stream audio, do you just use the final mix that comes from the main mixer? Right now, yes, unless I have the a separate one made specific for the live stream that is being adjusted on the board just for that separate mix, live stream mix. I normally anything after that, yes, can you adjust stuff with the ATEM? Yes, can you adjust stuff with your computer? You could. I don't want to do that because, again, I'm thinking of simplicity. If somebody comes behind me, unless you've thoroughly documented, can they follow the path of, okay, here's the sound, it's mixed this way, I got to mix it here, I got to do this here with the ATEM, do this with the computer. I like to just, the soundboard is for all audio, everything. So that's just my approach. But I am open to hear how y'all handle that. Pat, can't wait for that audio session. I've been having issues with frequency settings. Audio is good one moment, and then the praise team sings louder than the sound is distorted. Yeah, it's all over the place. Otis, I was just talking about you, man. Talking about some DAW stuff. So Otis, how do you have your stuff? Do you have your DAW routed to your computer like through a workstation so that you can individually adjust all the channels before it goes to live stream? That was a question that came up. I thought you and Chuck did something like that. Sean, I wouldn't, because the audio needs are different. With a Dante network, you can send a copy of what comes from the mixer to multiple locations, and each location can be independent from each other. That was my thoughts as well too. Mr. Lester here. Earlier, you said that you would use a splitter coming out of the ATEM to send the stream output to different screens. What would be your output settings for the ATEM? I mean, honestly, it's just 1080p 60. That's it. I'm not changing anything else. Just like what you're seeing right now is the mix that's coming out from my ATEM going to vMix, but the graphics is the extra layer, like the lower thirds. I play that for the live stream, but that doesn't go into the house. But I don't make anything different. Roy M. Hey, AJ, what is your thoughts on the SMT AV PTZ or the AVideo 1 or the Famaco cameras for any low-cost PTZs on Amazon? We use PTZ optics, but want a lower-cost alternative for our side cameras. Originally at Antioch, I have it's a PTZ optics in the back. In the front of the sanctuary, it is a SMT AV. You can't tell the difference. Let me rephrase that. The people who are watching won't be able to notice the difference. And then out of all of them, the Famaco has a different sensor and an interface than the other ones, but you'll be very hard pressed to be able to tell the difference once you dial it in. I did a video where I did a comparison of all of those, and those were just vanilla right out of the box. If I tweaked all of them, you wouldn't notice the difference. So whatever one that matches, I think will be good. Bruce Adams, I'm mad. You know what I'm thinking? When you first thought that, I'm thinking about LL Cool J. I'm bad. Cool J. That's the first thing I thought about when you did that. But Otis, have you used Live LAN in vMix? Yes, actually I have. I used to use that in here when I did this. That's what was feeding the screen at first before I got a cable and directly connected. We are sending the stream over the LAN. However, the two 4K 75-inch LG TVs are buffering connected via Cat6. We used the LG Web OS with the IP address generated by vMix. No, I haven't noticed any issues, but that's part of the reason why I don't like using the IP stuff. It's cool, but again, I don't, unless it's on its own separate thing, you introduce a whole lot of stuff. But I haven't, Otis, I haven't done anything with that outside of what I'm doing here locally, because everywhere else, I've only messed with one church that's actually using vMix, but they've never had a need to use that live LAN. But I will see if I can take it to my church and play around with it and see what it is there. Back to John. Maybe you have already done a video, but could you make a video sometime about how to use Envato Elements, DaVinci Resolve assets, and get them into your own project? Sure, I will. I've been meaning to do a video, but it's kind of hard to make a video about how I make videos without doing a video. It's like it loops on top of itself. I'm gonna work on that. So we got a bunch of other topics. So again, y'all, I think that's a good idea. I did that originally at first on the Facebook group, but to be real talk, nobody really acted on it. So I'm gonna do that again and see if y'all are a part of that. Work on that. Let's see. I think we're at that top page. I didn't even notice the time. Yeah, folks. I mean, it's like one of the things when you do your thumbnail, realize. Now, let me go back here because I left this out. Now, in this scenario, let me change the other thing that I said I was going to do. I'm going to come in here and I want to crank this up. Actually, I'm going to distort this because I want to make this a lot taller. So I'm going to rasterize this layer. And then I want to distort it. Well, no, actually a scale would work as well too. I want to change this because I want to just do the height of it. So something like that, right? Let's move it up just a little bit. Now, no matter what thumbnail that you make, realize that 90% of people who are watching on Facebook or YouTube do it on their mobile phone. So for this, let's shrink this down. Can you clearly get a message of what the topic is? If you shrink your thumbnail down to this size and you can't read it and you can't understand it, it is a bad thumbnail. All right. So for me, what I would do with this is too light. So for me, what I would do is add another layer because I want this to stand out some more. I'm going to put a black layer right there. And then I'm going to do some opacity. And then now stands out a whole lot more because of the colors. That's just me. Now, I would obviously lift up this a little bit more if I spelled prodigal right. I don't know. But I would do something like that. Shrink your thumbnail down. And if you can't understand what that is, it's a bad thumbnail. All right. So hopefully that helps you. Get a couple of ones and then we're going to be done here. Amy, yeah. I have a conference room of 65 by 40 feet within a conference room rectangular table in the middle, 4 sides. How many PTZ cameras do I need to cover all 4 sides? Close shots, wide. You can get away with 3. 4 would be optimal. I mean, you can go as high as you want, but the minimum that I would use would be 4 to get each perspective. That's what I would do. Phelpsy. AJ, thank you for what you do. On your installs of PTZ cameras, do you leave them powered up when not in use? No. I send my stuff all through a PoE switch that's sending power to them. So inside of the media room, they kill the power to the switch, which kills the power to, that PoE switch, which kills the powers to the camera and the joystick. I don't ever leave any of my stuff on. Even here, I shut all this stuff down. So when I am done, and I obviously can't do it right now, when I shut all this stuff down, the ATEM, my HyperDeck, and you can't see it, but it's my sound is right here. All of that gets shut down, as well as that PTZ is shut down, everything. I do not leave anything on at all. And by sending everything into that one PoE switch that sends power to everything, when I kill the power to that, which is normally plugged into a on and off switch in the rack or on a surge protector that's just on the floor, it kills the power to everything. That's how I have it at my church right now. Like, see, I want to do something like that. I need some more people to do that. And I'm gonna do something a little bit different because we're at the end of the year. So I'm going to tell y'all some thoughts about what I plan. I mentioned this, but I want to double down on it as well, too. Back to Otis. Yes, we run audio via Dante from our mixer to multiple destination, 1 to DAW, 1 directly in. Awesome. And that does give you access to every single channel to alter. John, we have 2 PTZ cameras and need a suggestion for a Bluetooth or PC powered audio solution that can run directly into a PC that we are using Bridge to run the system remotely. Using Bridge. I mean, suggestion for a Bluetooth or PC powered audio solution. I might be misunderstanding. So you have it connected, but you want to send the audio over Bluetooth, or you're just looking for a solution to bring the audio and bridge those together. Sorry if I misunderstand your question. Pat, I don't know if you've done this. Can we take a virtual tour of your setup? I've been meaning to do that. That was one of the plans. One of the videos I'm working on is my tour of everything here, how I have my stuff set up. Also a tour of how I have vMix set up so that y'all see stuff like this as well. Oh, and also on a side note, I know this ain't for everybody, but the Tesla just did an update. So now I can do Zoom calls from the Tesla. So that's going to be a blast. So when we start back up on our roundtables, which I'm trying to get one before the end of the year, it's just a lot of stuff has been going on, folks. So my apologies for everybody like that. I miss talking on the roundtables as much as y'all probably miss them as well too. I'm working on that, but to be able to be driving somewhere and I can be on, well, actually I have to be parked for it to work. I've been meaning to test that out as well too. So that's going to be cool. And this entire time we have been on phone live stream. So if you've been on the phone live stream, please let me know how it's been sounding. Philip Paul wants to know, can you use the Raspberry Pi to monitor the live stream? And yeah, you can. You just you can just install the Rasputin, I forgot the name, their interface for the desktop, and then you just like any desktop, just open up a browser and just watch it. You can do it that way. I've done that before. A PoE switch is a switch that sends power over Ethernet. It's not just like a regular network switch. It will actually send power as well too. So these are ones that I have used multiple times. Like, let me see if I'll log into mine personally and let you see how mine works. All right. So here in my setup, here at home, I have Unify stuff, and it looks like I need to do some updates here. Hold on. Let me turn off some stuff here real quick. Columns. Turn those off. All right. So here in my setup, this is all the networking stuff that I have here. Let me actually update these two because I'm not using them right now. So in here, I have a PoE switch, which is up under the table over here, and I have my main PoE switch. So in here, I come here and you see it's powering my Flex phone. It's also powering the camera that's in the garage. It's powering the camera that's above the garage. And that's what's sending power to those. So if I look at the ports here and look at port management, see these ones, these are all the ones that are sending power. So the switch that's upstairs, it's sending power to that. My access point that I'm doing an update is sending power to that there. And it sends power over that Ethernet cable. So I don't need external power at all. I don't need an outlet to plug into anything. That's what I use for, and you see that just went off because it just did an update. That's how I have mine configured. So there's a bunch of ones that you can use. So the ones I've used that are at low cost, just remind you, there's my book. That was my original book. I'm still working on my second one there. But we do BV Tech PoE switch. These are the ones I normally use because, I mean, they're cheap and they work very well. So this one right here, in that same question, I would have this because they have this one. They also have a rack-mounted one that's actually flatter. Like any of these big ones, these small ones, big rack-mounted one, some of these. So I'd have everything, as you see, I've ordered them a couple of times. So inside of this, I would have all the cameras plugged in. Each one of these ports provides power, which is why it's cheap. This one is around like $60. The one that I had, that I just showed you, the Unify one, that's $100. And that only gives you 4 ports that actually send power. But all 8 of these do, and then these are your uplinks. So I would have my PTZs plugged into this, my joystick plugged into this, and all I would do was kill power to this, and it would shut off the joystick and the cameras. That's how I use those. Okay, John, I appreciate that. All right. So now that we got that, I'm getting ready to shut down. First, thank y'all so much for stopping by. Now, what we're going to be working on, we got just a lot of stuff in full transparency. Business has been very interesting. So this is more for the entrepreneurs that are out there. I've learned a very hard lesson on running a business that I'm going to tell you something that my mentors have told me, past mentors and even current mentors. You don't need everybody's money. I'm about trying to help ministries, but I realize even though that's my mission, a lot of ministries don't share that same mission. They may say it in word, but not in deed. I'm not trying to shame nobody. I hope y'all wouldn't be naive enough to think that there's a lot of people out there that are not fake with their stuff. So for me, what I have learned that I need to protect my ministry, this. So for me, that means that I've had to set aside way more money than I thought for taxes, for emergency, for rainy day, for when people back out of contracts and stuff like that, that unfortunately, just me being transparent, have really put me in a very unique situation these last couple of months of the year. So working on that, we're going to be doing a lot more products. That's why, honestly, I'm trying to sell some of the stuff that I don't need to help. Not saying that I'm desperate or nothing like that. I'm not going to penny pinch y'all, but I'm just saying that you'll see that I'm going to be selling a lot more stuff that is coming into me. We're doing a lot more stuff, going to be working on a lot more digital assets. That OBS bundle version 2 is going to be coming soon, working on that. But then more importantly, the mission is to amp up more of what we're doing. Like I told y'all before, the reason why I did this is I set myself on fire, invited everybody to watch. Could anybody do what I'm doing? Yeah, anybody could, but nobody has. So I want to leverage the platform I'm using here to not just entertain, not just to educate, but to actually make a change that is noticeable in the kingdom. That is why the bonuses that I get or whatever when I hit certain levels, I'm not just keeping that. I want to give that back in some way, shape, or form. Working on eMissionary Conference version 2, which is going to be a physical as well as an online conference, so that we can actually meet, and we're going to be doing that as well too. I just want to take everything that we're doing to a notch. This year I had a goal of transforming 100 ministries. We got to around 40, so we didn't hit that goal, but we're going to reset the goal. And again, next year it's going to be 100 physical installs that we do. I am looking from a standpoint from a business to actually hire 5 full-time employees. I have one, but we're going to expand that some more because I need to duplicate myself so that we can hit more goals. That's what I'm learning, that as much as I want to help out, I'm only one person. And that's why I hope this stuff, that's why I want to encourage all of y'all, Pat, Anthony, all the other folks that, Brandon, who have started businesses, we need more Christian entrepreneurs. All right. So that we can actually do more ministry, more funding of ministries, everything like that. That is my goal of here, is to get to that point where we're making tons of cash monthly so that we can actually impact. One of my biggest dreams is to get this channel so big, the influence so big, the income so big, that if we hear word of any ministry that got vandalized, burnt down, or something like that, we can come in and they don't even have to worry about it. We can come in and companies can bring me the equipment because of the influence we got to donate it to a ministry, and we have enough revenue coming in that we can go in and rebuild the entire ministry, and they ain't got to worry about anything. That is my long-term goal. And I want to do that and just change and be an impact player to show that, hey, this ministry of YouTube, what I call a ministry, if I can do this, anybody else can do it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I really appreciate everything. I hope y'all have a great Christmas. Obviously, on next Friday, we're not going to have anything. I might try and do it a day early. So because 25th is on Sunday, the 24th, 23rd. My daughter's birthday is on the 22nd. So I'm going to spend time with her throughout the excuse me, throughout the holiday and stuff like that. I'm gonna see if I can do something else. But if y'all don't hear from me from this type of stuff, I hope y'all have a great Christmas. Not no Xmas. I hope y'all have a great Christmas and y'all have wonderful holidays throughout the year. And I just pray so much abundance and growth for next year for y'all, to notice that all the hard work that y'all have been doing, that God will show you a glimpse of what your hands have been able to produce, to see and hear of the impact of all that hard work of your live streaming, getting the audio straight, getting your video straight, that y'all can see exactly what it's doing, just a glimpse of it. And I'm excited about us just moving forward, moving the kingdom forward. That's what it's all about. So thank y'all so much, the supporters, Patreon supporters, YouTube members. Again, my apologies. I don't know why the video didn't play. I've rendered it last night. I don't know why it's playing, but again, thank y'all so much for y'all support. Thank y'all so much through all the words and kindness that y'all have given me throughout the year. It has helped me so much more than you know. At no point in time I'm going to tell you all the details of everything going on. But I just thank y'all for y'all's prayers continually. They have held me through a lot of times where I've wanted to give up. Just stuff has been crazy. I give y'all this. The enemy only attacks people that are a threat. Hopefully y'all get that. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great day, evening, afternoon. I appreciate you. Love y'all. And we'll be catching y'all on the next video, folks. Later.